Hey everybody, this is Secondhand Dan coming to you from Homosassa, Florida land. It is December 30th, 2024, last Monday of the year. It's quite warm here right now. It's probably about 75. I think it's going to 77. That works for me. But what I wanted to show you today is my metal collectibles, my metal collection. When I say collection, you know, I don't mean it in the hard, fast sense that I'm holding on to this stuff. It's mine. It's just temporary. I collect it until I find somebody that loves that particular item more than I do or has a better use for it than I do. So I'm basically the flipper, you know. People say, what do you collect? Well, sometimes I pull out the Ben Franklins and say, this is what I collect. But, you know, it's all fun and games when you're in this line of work. I've been buying and selling collectibles now for about 25 years. So it's been a heck of a journey. I'm actually a licensed auctioneer. I haven't done a whole lot of auctions, but I am working presently with an auctioneer in Inverness, Florida. And that's been good to get back into that. So let's go ahead. I've got probably, what I have here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 items. I titled this video, Secondhand Dan is into heavy metal. Well, basically most of these things are heavy when you deadlift them, but some maybe not so heavy, but everything is a metal of some sort. So we're gonna go down and peruse the items one by one and check them out together. So now my most recent acquisition is this item. This is a ball bearing shaft. Probably looks like it held a large grinding stone, probably on this end. You can see how perfectly flat this disc is on this side. It's tapered back on that side, so I assume maybe one side is missing. But considering what I estimate its age to be, is probably, you know, 1920-ish. It is covered with some rust, but look at this, it still rolls. And, you know, I'm not detecting any rumbling noise like it's broken. Well, that's different. I didn't notice that until right now. There's a set screw in there and something here is broken off. But the thing about these items is, to the right person, they are collectible, they're conversation pieces, they maybe round out their man cave collection, and there are some people who want to put vintage machinery back into use. So this probably bolted to a rafter or wall studs and would transfer, the motor would run a belt to the grinding stone over here. So you can see, if I flip it over, there's still some pieces of wood on it, but whenever you see these square nuts, that means it's rather old, because nobody uses square nuts anymore except people who are into the decorative touch. Like I say, it's rolling free. It's got some tags on it from the manufacturer. So it says ball bearing SAO. Is that something? The diameter 1 3. That couldn't be, well, 1 3/15. Oh, gotta get the focus back. No, it looks like it says 5 from here, but maybe it's an 8. No, that wouldn't be right. All right, well, it's a fraction of some sort. 3/16 would be, yeah, probably, that's probably what it is. 3/16. Covered by 1 or, all right, well, this is getting too hard to read. New Brighton, Connecticut, made in USA. But like I said, somebody may want this in this exact patina, or somebody may wire brush it, then clear it. Somebody may want to wire brush it and paint it, maybe the shaft black and the bearing caps red. You know, there's a lot you can do with it. All right, well, that looks like a 1-inch shaft on there, and that's still free, which is surprising. I picked this up at the auction house, and I'm sure they had it out in the rain for a couple of weeks. So it hasn't done a whole lot of harm to it. It hasn't done it any good, but you know, if you were to put it in service, I would definitely recommend a complete teardown and reassembly. All right, well, moving on to the next item. Like I said, not everything here is exactly dead weight. This item is made out of brass, and I can lift it as it was meant to be lifted. It's what's known as a dim sum vendor's cart. I guess back in the cities, probably in the anywhere, I'm thinking from the 20s all the way up to the 50s, maybe 60s, that vendors in city streets would offer food. And this was typically called dim sum, which is, I believe, a Chinese dumpling. It's got the double doors on there. And compartment down here, I believe, is for probably putting your heating element, which would be coal in this case, or some kind of hardwood, maybe embers of some sort. You wouldn't want a roaring fire down there, but you want something to keep maybe hot, maybe I don't know, I'm only spitballing here. Maybe they put a tray of water in there too to try and create moisture. But it's got glass windows on the side. Let's say it's a brassy. I actually picked this up at a yard sale, and it came with a similar type vehicle. The one that I got with it was actually made of tin, but it was square and it looked more like an oven-ish type thing. But there again, you had to add probably charcoal to it as well. So I want to sell all of this stuff eventually. So if you're a viewer and you have any interest in purchasing it, go ahead and message me and let me know. Because like I say, I collect these things for just a temporary, you know, this is actually sort of in display in my living room right now. My wife isn't too thrilled with that, but I'm not about to bring this in and put it in the living room. But I was able to get away with that. The dip sum. I think didn't the guy in Blade Runner, didn't he go to a cart and get some dim sum? Yeah, okay, moving right along. The propeller. This is a solid bronze propeller. I bought this at auction. I actually bought a pair of them. So I'm trying to sell this on eBay. The other one I have maybe has a slight bend in one of the props. But that's not a horrible thing, because most of the people who would buy this would probably just want to put it on display, maybe in their game room, their tavern. Got a nice ring to it. So it's available for sale. It's a, I don't know if there's any, yeah, there's a mark on it. Serial number. Oh, there's another one. Well, they got it marked every prop. Yeah, in between every prop there's a marking. And you get to hang it up by a rope and use it as a dinner gong. Okay, this is a flywheel. This is cast iron. I believe it is like 27 inches. I did a quick Google search on it, and I thought I found its twin. And it was more or less its younger sibling, because the one I found identical in looks was actually only 25 inch. This is 27 inch. So I'm going to offer this for sale on eBay. Something like this I can ship. You know, you sandwich it between 5 layers of cardboard on each side, and lots of tape. Use a whole roll of tape. The prop, it's sellable on eBay. The dim sum, it's sellable, but I've been checking the prices, and for the amount of effort I would have to put into it, for what it would sell for, and then to make sure that I had charged enough shipping and I protected it, it just seems like too much of a hassle. If it was worth, $300, it would be worth the hassle, but, I think it's coming in around $50 to $75, because although it's unusual, and you could even say it's rare, it's not impossibly rare. So if you go onto eBay and type in dim sum cooker, you'll find more of them. All right, here's a guy. Say hello to my little friend. This is a suit of armor. I picked this up at a yard sale, and he's been displayed in my living room. I'm not too anxious to get rid of him, but everything is available if the price is right. I probably would want triple or quadruple what I paid for it, because I got a heck of a deal on it. So there again, to ship him on eBay, I'm sure somebody would bid on it and we'd pay for the shipping, but then I'd be so concerned about it getting dented up. So I will not do him on eBay. I might do him on Marketplace. Or I could take him to the auction and maybe put a reserve on it, so I don't only get what I paid for it. Here's something. I can't swear to what this actually is. It's threaded, and it's definitely what you call like an eye bolt. I'm thinking that it maybe went on to a tractor. And when I say tractor, I mean something like a Caterpillar bulldozer type thing, that it threaded into the back of it, and then you put chains through there, and I guess if it ever broke, you just unthread it and put a new one in. But that makes for a heck of a paperweight, wouldn't you say? Or a doorstop. In fact, we've been using a cheap plastic lantern as a doorstop in the one bedroom. I wonder if I should just paint this up and use it. It says, warning, use only with, as I say, with 4-inch NFT speed flange. Now, NPT, 4-inch NPT would be National Pipe Thread. Okay, so yeah, I can feel the slight taper to it. So I know what pipe thread is. That means the thread isn't perfectly straight. It runs in at a slight angle as the thread either progresses or retreats. So if you know exactly what it is, feel free to, down in the comments, say what it is. If you say, well, it came off a left-handed moss-covered 3-handled family credenza, and you know that to be factual, share it in the comments. All right, now here's the beast from the east, or should I say the louse from the south. Okay, that came with that first pulley shaft I showed you. Oh, say hello to my little friend. If you're not from Florida, you're probably not so familiar with these guys. Looks like a king-size roach, but they call them saw palmetto bugs. And they do get in the house on occasion, but they don't, unlike cockroaches, you're not chasing them out by the dozens. If you get one in your house, you may not, you catch it, get rid of it, and you may not see another one for a month or so. So I got a story to tell about our little friend there. I was in church last year, and I'm like, it feels like my sock is bunched up right under the arch. So there in church, I pulled my shoe off and trying to straighten out my sock, And there was one of these right in the arch inside my shoe. How I managed to go from the house, putting my shoe on, all the way down to church, which is in the car about 10 minutes away, and being in the church for 10 minutes, you know, it freaked me out a little, not a super freak, but I'm like, yeah. So I hobbled along outside and flipped them outside. I didn't want to freak out anybody else in the church. But anyway, back to this thing. Oh, look. Roll in, roll in, roll in. It looks like to be about the same shaft size as the other one, 1 inch. And there's looks like 2 sleeves there. So if you were to back this off, in between the sleeves, you could probably put something like a saw blade in there. And that looks like to be the flywheel right there. Oh, actually, that's the belt drive. Back in the day, in the late 1800s, early 20s, a lot of your factories had leather belt drive system. There would be pulleys up in the ceiling, usually run off a master engine, be it, most often it was either a steam engine or a water wheel, even before the electric came into place. And when electric did come into place, they still would just switch over to an electric motor to drive the master shaft in the ceiling, which could be, you know, anywhere from 6 feet, 30 feet long. And there'd be various machines that would tap into it with a leather belt that would be this wide and go up to the ceiling to the master pulley. And you would have maybe an idler somewhere in the middle to connect and disconnect the amount of tension to get your item going here. So I'm only spitballing again, like, you know, put a saw blade in there. Yes, no, maybe. Over on this side, it's identical. There is no colors on it, but you can see that it's well engineered. And, you know, I would say back in the day they over-engineered, but that was a good thing. Today they under-engineer, you know. Something like they built the equivalent of this today, it might last, you know, 5 years. They built this one, it looks like it would last 100 years. Even has grease fittings. Now, if you wanted to put this one back into service, I would definitely recommend a tear down and a rebuild. Because, you know, I don't know per se if there any moisture at all got in there, and that would be very detrimental. Even a tablespoon of water, if somehow got inside there, was definitely going to catch up with you if you don't do a rebuild on it. So, and it has embossed letters. It's from New York. Oh, hold on, let me see if I can clean this off a little better. All right, let's take the wire brush to it. Oh yeah, that's definitely making a difference here. This thing weighs about 100 pounds, so like whoever would be interested in owning something like this, you better be strong, because it takes 2 people to deadlift it. All right, well, I've cleaned it off. It says number 3BB, which is that's kind of weird for, yeah, it's a number 3, BB by L Best C, New York. All right, is there anything on the other side? No, the other side is just smooth. Well, let's show you all the sides. If you have any idea, especially you old timers out there, not that you would have been around while this was actually functioning, but your grandfather maybe was, and he told you the stories of such things. And because it looks like something went on here and was adjustable to some degree, because it's got mounting holes on the bottom So these aren't for mounting, because there's 4 mounting holes. So it got bolted down to whatever table, bench. It could have even been down on the floor. I say it rolls real good. No rumble right now. So this is, in my eyes, I consider it to be a work of industrial art. I'm sure that wasn't their intention when they designed and made this thing, but they couldn't help but make some nice creations back in the day. All right, well, if you saw my previous videos, I had this. I think I posted that one 7 months ago, and I like to think it went virus, the video. Viral, not virus. Yeah, I knew, I was just making a joke there. I did that on purpose, but it got like 80,000 views, so that's the most so far any of my videos have received is 80,000 views, so help me out to let's break a new record. Well, I'd be breaking an old record. A lot of people theorize that this was a radial arm saw. I could see where they come up with that, but I don't think it was. Every radial arm saw I saw had a round shaft. This is a square shaft right here. And it looks like it wasn't very fluid as far as motions back and forth. This head here pivots and locks into place. So you wouldn't want to do that with a radial arm saw. You couldn't slide a saw that's pivoted at an angle like that back and forth. So I almost wonder if it was like a fixed grinder or something like that. Here's where it bolted down, probably to an iron workbench, and you could raise and lower it. This thing probably weighs 100 pounds. I struggle to move it on a dolly, mostly because it's so awkward. It doesn't like to sit on a dolly. It's hard to find a true center point. The last thing I have is over here in my workshop. Let's put it this way. It's the last thing that's going to be in this video. Anyway, is a drill press. This is a Homecraft Delta Rockwell drill press. So I picked this up like 2 years ago, and it's definitely it's functioning drill press. You know, it was doing a nice job considering, you know, I only had like $40 in it. Bought it at somebody's yard sale, but I found a more modern replacement that's easier to work with, and I got this probably for like $25 at the auction. So I'm really happy with that. So I figured, well, let's sell the old one. Well, they are selling on eBay. I've seen one sell as much as maybe, was it $400 or $500? And I listed mine briefly for like $125. It had to be you come and get it, or send your person to come get it. I'll help load it on the car. And I had that listed for a couple days, and I would always go back and see how it was doing. And I was starting to look at comparables. And I realized that the comparables further down the list you went, they were breaking them down into parts and selling just the parts. So I figured, well, I can't ship the whole thing. It's, you know, that would be a logistical nightmare. You know, that's why I didn't list mine for the big buck and promise I'd ship, because most people still want these things shipped. Even if they say, well, can't you call a shipper and have them ship it to me? No, because I would ultimately be responsible if the shipper that I got to ship it, you know, broke it or lost it. And still, I just don't want to deal with that kind of logistics. So I said, well, let me break mine down into pieces too. So I took it off eBay, and I am selling it out by the piece. I've seen, this is the front cover, and I've seen those going for $40, so I'm asking less for mine. This is the drive pulley, or the driven pulley. It actually has a bearing in the center of it, and I've seen those going for about 50 bucks. And I've seen the motor going for about $70. So any of these parts here is easy enough for me to ship. So these parts are listed on eBay right now, and eventually I'll break it down even to more. You know, I'll sell the table, and then I'll sell the base, and I'll sell the head unit. So when in doubt, part it out, you know. So that's where we are on my collection of heavy metal. Here in sunny Florida, and I am sure that I've only been here for 2 weeks, that there is some more heavy metal yet to come. But I really want to sell some of the metal that I have now. I don't want to accumulate. I want to just keep it moving, keep it moving. All right, everybody. Well, thanks much for hanging out with me here. Please like, subscribe, thumbs up. That's the like button. Comment. You know, let's get a rapport going. You know, I try and respond to some of the comments if they're polite comments. So far, everybody's been pretty nice. Of course, some people, you know, give advice that isn't necessarily solicited, but I'm not going to say, well, I already know that, or, you know, isn't that obvious, or didn't you see that I stated that in the video itself? But, you know, we're all armchair quarterbacks. But like I say, like, subscribe, comment, and thank you very much. See you in the next one.